Hello everyone, this is Satyaprakash. Welcome to my channel. In this part 20 of Angular CLI, we learn about how to implement routing in Angular and set up routing manually. Before going through this part 20, please visit my part of Angular CLI, that is steps to generate component in Angular CLI. Because these components are related with this Angular CLI 20 session, so it is very important to go to this video, that is part 9, generate component in Angular CLI. So in this part 20, we'll discuss how to generate component using Angular CLI, how to set base href tag in the application host page, and how to import RouterModule into the application, and steps to configure routes in the application, and uses of router-outlet directive in the application. So guys, before we discuss how we can use Angular CLI implement routing, let's set up the routing manually so we understand all the parts as far as implementing routing is concerned. So first of all, we need to create a new Angular project, and for that the command is ng new project name, and there is few components we need to generate. So let's generate the components here. So I already have created the components here, that is the home component, and the command is ng-gc home, and second one is employees component, ng-gc employees, and last one is page not found component. So ng-gc, this is the command is to create these components. So I already have created these components for my project. So Angular CLI not only generates these components, it also imports and registers the component in the root module file. So if I'll go to here my Angular project, you can see there is a respective folder for their components has been created. So it is for employee component, this is for home component, and this one is for page not found component. So here Angular CLI generates these components as well as it registers and imports this component in the root module, that is the app.module.ts file. So you can see here all these components has been imports, right? This is the path it is implemented, that is import and the home component from this path, and the import employees component from this path, and import page not found component from this path, and also it registered this component. So you can see here in the ng module declaration array, it mentioned this component names. So this home component, employees component, and the page not found component has been mentioned here. So after then, what I'll do here, at this point I'll execute the Angular CLI command. For that the command is ng sub space dash dash open, so that it compiled all this code successfully, and I get this result, that is my lint new proj, right? So it will take some time to load this project, and so this builds and launches the application. So it is the output of that following Angular CLI project. This is my basic output of my project called lint new proj. So we'll go to the next step, that is here are the steps to implement routing in Angular. So step 1 is in the application host page, which is the index.html, right? So I'll go to the index.html. So here index.html here. So what it does is base href tells the Angular router how to compose and navigate URLs. So this is already done by the Angular CLI for us. You can see this one is mentioned here, right? Base href equal to double quotation, you mentioned the slash here. So this is already done by Angular CLI when we create this project. So this is the step 1. So I close this, and step 2 is we need to import RouterModule into the application, that is the root module is app.module.ts file. So here we need to import this RouterModule into the application. So this command is import, and I'll mention the bracket here, and here what I'll do, router module, and from where we need to import that is single quotation. We need to put here @Angular / router, okay, and put the semicolon here. So import router module from okay, so this is the router module we already have imported here, right? The router module contains the router service, router directives such as router link and router link active, router outlet, etc. So for us to be able to implement routing, we need to import the router module in our app.module.ts file. So here it is the router module we import, and we need to register this router module, right? We just copy this router module and mention inside the imports array. So comma put and paste here this router module. So it's successfully done the implementation of step 2, that is import the router module into the application of that is the file called app.module.ts file, and save these changes. So here if I'll put the mouse cursor, you can see the details of router module class here, right? So you can see all the details about this router module. That is the description part of router module, right? If you want to guide something, you just click here and you'll get the details about this router module section, right? Okay, so step 3 is we need to configure the application routes. To configure the routes, we need to import the routes type from Angular, that is the @Angular / router, right? If you look at the definition of routes, what I'll do here, I need to import the routes here also. Like router module, we need to import the routes here. So I'll just put here routes. So it is imported from the Angular / router. So if you look at the definition of router, you can see here that it is actually an array of route object, right? And this routes type is not required for the application to work. However, using it provides us the intelligence and compile time checking. For example, if we misspelled any properties of route object, will be reported as errors. So I put my mouse cursor on that routes object, routes type. It is an array of route object. So you can see that all the description and details about this route. So you can see, right? So what I'll do now next is I need to put inside the imports array. So before implement inside the imports array, what I'll do here, I need to each route maps a URL path to a component, right? So what I'll do here, I'll just go to this code, and before ng module I'll write some code here for map this path and using the component. So const and app routes, okay, and colon, and here I mention the routes equal to, and put the semicolon here, and I make it a new line. All right, so here I put it in a new line here, and inside the bracket I need to mention the path of this component. So here the component is home, Alright, and I will put a comma here, and the component name is home component, right? Because we have mentioned the home component there. We import the home component, so that we need to mention here home component and put comma here. Oh, I just mentioned misspelled as party, but it should be path, and it should not be there some space, so I mention here. So like this, we need to mention 4 lines for 4 different components. One is for home, another is for employees, so I here mention as employees, and I just copy this employees component and I paste here, and like this we need to copy this line for empty component. If there is not if the user not pass any component name, then what it will do for this what will the output for that request. So I'll mention here redirect to. Okay, redirect to is home. Okay, remove slash here, and I just remove this line component here, put comma, and I mention here path match colon here, and put here full. Alright, so path given redirect to home component and path match equal to full. I just mention here one space. So like this we need another for page not found. So here I put comma and I'll paste this line, and this is the white, and this double star is for that is the wildcard. Alright, so I'll put here star double star. It is the wildcard route. So this route is used for if the request URL does not match any other routes already defined. So this component will go to for page not found. So I'll mention here page not found here. Right, so component. Okay, that's it. So I'll describe each line what it shows. That is, each route maps a URL path to a component. You can see this is mapped to home component, and the third route specifies if the route redirect to if the path is empty, right? If the path is empty, then it will redirect to our home page. So in our case we are redirecting to the home page or home component. That's why I mentioned here /home. For the employees, it will go to the employees component, and the fourth route is double star. I mentioned that inside the single quote, it is the wildcard route. So this route is used if the requested URL does not match any other routes already defined. So if the user not put any URL, right, or any component name like home, employees, or nothing, if the user will put any invalid request URL, then it will go to the page not found component, right? So that means it's the wildcard. It is the wildcard routes. So this is used for page not found page. That is if the user is request a invalid URL, then this URL does not match any other routes already defined, so it will go to the page not found of component. So next is to let the router know about the routes configured above. So what I'll do, I'll pass app routes constant to for route, and inside bracket I'll mention here app routes. So if I'll copy this one. Okay, I'll go to here imports, and you can see RouterModule is imported here. And if I'll mention here dot, and you can see there is so many methods, that is for child, for root, so many things we need to discuss in upcoming videos. So as of now, what I'll do, I'll mention here for root, right? So I click this one for root, and I mention inside the bracket I need to mention here app routes constant. So guys, you can see here so for this RouterModule has two methods, that is for child and for root. We also have for child method, and we'll discuss all these methods in our next videos. So this is it. I already have the router to know about the router configured above. So I already have passed this app routes inside the for root method of RouterModule. So I passed that constant for routes method, right? For root method. So I save these changes, and step number 4 is we need to specify, we should have routing working. So specify where you want the routed component view template to be displayed using the router-outlet directive. So in our case, we want them to be displayed in the root component, that is app component. So in the root component view template, that is in app.component.html. So if you'll go to app.component.html, so we already have so many default codes as the Angular CLI is generated for us. So I don't need this, I just remove all these codes. Alright, so what I'll do here, so in the root component view template, that is app.component.html file, I will replace all the existing HTML with router-outlet directive. So here I'll mention here router-outlet, right? This much I want to mention here. So before that, I need to show in the browser as the title of the application. So here you need to mention here h1 tag and mention here title. So I save these changes. So at this point, we should have routing working in our application. I already have built and run the application using the command ng-serve. I'll show you. So okay, so to build and run the application, we use the command called ng-serve --open, and after then we'll go to our, you can see, make sure all the compiled successfully by the Angular CLI. So I'll show here. So I'll show you that all the compiled it successfully, so we can get that latest build at today's time, and some hash code is generated and compiled successfully. So that I need to go to the Angular browser. So I just refresh. So guys, you can see here, notice the URL in the browser, we have /home, right? So we can see home works and lint new project, it is the title of the project, you can see. So how it comes from home works. So if I'll go to home component, and just click here home.component.html. So you can see there is one tag is mentioned with home works. That's why when we put /home, it comes to the output as home works. So now in the URL, remove /home and type employees. So if I'll put here /home, remove the /home and put here employees and press enter, and notice the message should come as employee works, right? That means it goes to our employee component. So I'll show you here. Employees is the component. I will click here employees.component.html. The output is showing that employees works. This is the text we have defined in the HTML file. So next one is in the URL, remove /employees and type /abc and press the enter key. So I mentioned here, press enter abc and click enter, right? So /abc is not a valid route, so the message should come as page-not found works is displayed. So you can see as you expected. So if you go to this page not found component, go to the HTML, so you can see page not found works is coming, because if you go to app.module.ts file, there is nothing like ABC, so it is not a valid route, so that it goes to the component called page not found, right? Alright, so next one is what I'll do that I'll remove that ABC and from the URL and press the enter key. So we can see that it redirect to the home component, that is the /home we have implemented as the default route. So if you'll go to the code here, if I mention some empty URL, that we did not mention anything here, right? And so that it will redirect to the home component, that is /home, and it is the default route, so that home works it displays, because it is go to the home component.html and it shows the output from that HTML file. So it is the default route. So yeah, this is all about how to generate component and configure the route inside the app.module.ts file, and what is the uses of router hyphen if we'll go to that one app.component.html, that is the uses of router hyphen outlet directive, right? And this is the output of my Angular CLI application. Okay, I'll go to my presentation here. So how to generate the components using Angular CLI? This is command ng-gc and the component name, and how to set base href tag in the application host page. So this tells the Angular router how to compose navigation URLs. This is already done for us by Angular CLI. We don't need to create this project because it is added inside the index.html page. So how to import RouterModule into the application? The RouterModule contains the router service, router directives such as router link active, and a router outlet, etc. So we are able to implement the routing, and this is we need to configure inside the app.module.ts file. And what are the steps to configure routes in the application? To configure routes, we first need to import the routes type from Angular/router, and the routes type provides us IntelliSense and compile time checking. And what are the uses of router-outlet directive in the application? The routed component view template to be displayed using the router-outlet directive in the app.component.html file. That's what we already have described, right? Okay, so this is the few different scenarios for home component. What will the output? If we put /home, it will go to the home component and displays the output. If we put the employees, then it will go to the employees component and displays the output. If we put nothing here, and it will redirect to the home component because it is the default route. And if we put any invalid request URL, then it does not match any routes defined in our Angular code, so that it will go to the page not found component and displays the output. So this is my YouTube channel. Subscribe and share it to get the updated knowledge on .NET Core, C#, SQL Server, Angular, DevOps, and Azure. So what we have learned today in this video: how to generate components in Angular CLI, what are the purpose of set base href tag in the index.html application host page, how to import router module into the application, and what are the steps to configure routes in the application, and what are the uses of router-outlet directive in the application. So that's all for today, guys. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.